Welcome to DCL Talk Show. You are listening it on Dclradio. I'll quickly introduce our guest tonight and our analyst tonight, and I'll straight away jump into our playoff games. Welcome to the show, Pradip.
Thank you, Jagan. Looking forward to another exciting week of playoffs. Dinesh and Sravan, thank you for everything that you guys do. You guys do a great job, and I'm proud to be a part of it. So, thank you, Jagan.
Welcome to the show, Dinesh.
Thank you, Jagan bro. Thank you, Pradip bhai. And thank you to all the listeners. I just can't wait to discuss at least a couple of games from the quarterfinals. Looking forward to it.
Okay, Sravan is yet to join. He said he'll be joining us in a minute. Any minute he'll join. And so before even we get into that, what happened in the last week games? Okay, Sravan is here. Welcome to the show, Sravan. Sravan, can you hear us?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you. Thank you. Thank you for joining.
No problem.
Okay. And let's start here. See, there are some games that went to wire. There are some games. I mean, I can call those not some. There's one which is a shocker, and there are a set of games which are totally one-sided games. When I segregate these into every game that happened at NOVI, it either it was, I mean, it very competitive. Exactly, this is what people in DCL expect. DCL playoff game. Okay, and on the other side, the games that happened, at least 5 games that happened in West Bloomfield Hills and DSP and Keith, they ended up being completely one-sided. And I don't know what to read from this. Is it the pitch or is it the talent? I don't know. So I want to get your inputs and your thoughts about these games. Keith, DSP versus NOVI games. I'll start with Dinesh.
Oh well, it's a tough one. Keith, I think out of these three locations or venues we were talking about, I feel Keith is the best batting wicket, and more so it is not. It is beginning to be used more and more compared to Drake and Novi Power Park. So personally, I've had. I think Keith too. I've had. I think I've told this like a million times already. The highest DCL score, and when I've kept wickets, and I've seen a century from Ali Abbas as well. So Keith in general, I feel is a better batting track than compared to the other two grounds. Probably then comes DSP and then comes Novi Power Park. Novi Power Park is a typical DCL wicket, more bowler friendly, I believe. You have to work hard for your runs. So that's my take on it.
Okay, Pradeep, what do you say?
Yeah, and I mean there are a couple of pitches, right? Heat 2, or I think it was Heat 2.
Keith too.
That probably resulted the lowest scoring game of the season, I believe. GLCC and Dynamite, right? So, as good as the pitches are, I think the weather definitely has some factor in it, right? But at the end of the day, I think it comes down to the teams that are playing. I don't care what the pitches do. Yes, they might kind of lean towards one side or the other, but every ground, including DSP and Keith, they always have some surprises in the end. Like Novi, this game, KRCC and Bulls, that was a low-scoring game. And at the end of the day, playoffs is a different beast. Bowlers who execute, teams that execute, always have the upper hand, right? And I'll give you another example. What is that grounds in Downriver, Jagan? Woodlands? No.
Woodhaven.
Woodhaven.
Woodhaven, yeah. So
yeah.
those are good pitches still. But if you look back, GLCC won against Pokeries, a playoff game where Pokeries were all out for 17 runs or 21 runs, whatever it was. But I think at the end of the day, it comes down to the teams and how well they execute the strategy. Pitches do play a factor, but I don't think you can generalize the term where pitches have a significant impact on the outcome of the game. That's my thought, anyway.
So you think it is not the pitch, it is the talent?
Yes, I mean, you have to still execute, right? The pitch might be bowler friendly or batsman friendly, but the greatest bouncing pitches, batsman friendly pitches, for example, including NOVI, Northville actually, you can still get teams all out for 20, 30 runs if you execute because of the bounces. The bowlers can execute and take wickets still, right? It's not just, yes, the ball comes to the bat faster, but if you're a good bowler, you can actually execute on those pitches, extract the bounce, and get the wickets that you need. That's what I'm trying to say.
So let me ask you this. There's a possibility of rain, okay, on Saturday.
Ooh.
So from Friday evening into Saturday, okay. It's thunderstorm, so chances of rain is 90% at this moment, okay, in the daytime. So just in case if it rains, it's going to be a tough one, especially in DSP and Keith, and it's going to be more tough in NOVI. So
Yeah. So
because
good.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so out of these three pitches, with my experience, especially the 25th year, there was one game against Safari/Red Devils where Keith, there was stagnant water in Keith. They worked really hard and the pitch was in a really good condition where Safaris absolutely dominated against us. So Keith, I feel, is the best ground which can recover from even if there's stagnant water. And DSP, we all know. Then I think the worst again would be Norway Power Park. It's kudos to the ground conditions or ground staff, or both in combination.
So somehow I felt, DSP. I was umpiring this corporate cup yesterday. DSP 2, the field DSP 2, and I felt like those pitches are beaten a lot. Maybe because of the cricket. Very uneven. The bounce was very uneven, and especially some balls are kicking like anything. From the good length.
DSP2 especially has taken a beating because that's neutral for setting sun versus 1 and 3. So somehow the T90, couple of T90 games which I've played and I witnessed at 2, I think out of those 3 pitches, 2 has got the invariable bounce.
Okay, so let me quickly go to Sravan. Sravan, what do you think about these? I mean, pitch or talent with respect to last week games?
So, talent is definitely not a question because all the teams that made it to playoffs, they're already good teams, So I think pitch does play a greater part. We did see it in multiple years, multiple scenarios. If the pitch is bad, talent really can't do much. If somebody's putting the ball in a good area and the pitch is doing it, that's it. We're done.
Yeah.
So in playoff games, I would believe all the teams that qualified are equally good teams. That's the reason why they're there. So talent, maybe one is higher seeded, the other is lower seeded. That's about it. But they all have the ability to compete, right? So pitch will matter, and rain does matter, and NPP does matter.
Very well said.
Okay, snip it and let it make the rounds. Good one.
See, I mean, I can give some examples here. DSP2 especially, I umpired back-to-back games for Corporate Cup, and one game was is between Ford and Benz, and I think it's a 58. 58 is what Ford scored or something like that. Game was tied with chasing those 58 runs. Or yeah, Ford was chasing. So and the very next game, yesterday's game, probably what 66 or 67 runs on the board, batting first, and Ford could not chase those. Okay, they had absolutely fantastic start. Okay, half of the runs scored in what 5-6 overs, and then they could not do anything. And so that's when I went back and I checked who played there for in the pre-quarters. It was between Fighters and Detroit Titans. That's the I would say, Titans lost by 72 runs. 72 runs in some cases, that's one of the best scores. That's one of the winnable score in playoffs. Okay, and they lost by that many runs. So that's when I thought, like, is it this pitch has something to do with that one? That's how I felt. Okay, and with that, we will come. It's a topic where we can go on for entire hour. So we will stop it here and go to games quickly. Okay, so the first game that we are going to discuss is Gujarat Lions versus GLCC. It's both teams played excellent game there. Okay, Gujarat batting first. Actually, Gujarat wanted to bat first. If you look at their um, entire season, they were very confident if they bat first, normally, and they scored 90, and GLCC was able to chase that one, but it. I can say, I mean, I was watching the game. It could have been anybody's game, though GLCC won this game. Dinesh, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I thought bits and pieces was there for a little bit to catch the live action going on, and especially the chase part of it. Was happy, and I think Gujarat Lions was very happy with this matchup for various odd reasons. And Maulik played Captain Snark, decided to come right smack in the middle, 24 out of 19 with the strike rate of 126 was like pretty impressive from Maulik to get to 90. The key there, I think, with Viral's 4-wicket haul there, a good strong performance there. But in the batting front, I think that opening partnership, especially, they said a lot of different things. In T-ball, what's the average batter score? So anything close to 8 to 10 runs, if you average 8 to 10 in T-ball, and especially in DCL cricket, you are a good batter. That intent which Vamshi showed, that's like KK showed, was like very good. And how he revved up Tejas, and what Hemant was doing from the outside to rev up his, his closer mates within the team. That all played a big part in that big inning from Tejas right at the beginning is what set it up for GLCC, even though that, as you said, the finish was a little bit of a struggle. They would have hoped to finish strong, but either way, they got to it with a little bit of struggle. They've learned what it is and certain combinations and what to do, what not to do. So congrats to GLCC and Tarun. Good fight there with those 4 wickets as well. So good bowling from him. I mean, congrats to GLCC. They've been consistent, and I think kudos, big handout to Maulik Patel. A lot of people, we did talk about his captaincy, and some tactics have been really good from Maulik. Can get only better for him in the coming years.
Yeah, definitely. I'm impressed with the team because the first time forming a team, and it's chemistry wise, it is going to be very difficult, and they made it to playoffs. That's a great achievement. Pradip, your thoughts?
Yeah, Gujarat Lions, putting 90 up, right? That's a good score, decent score to defend. But I still feel that Gujarat Lions need a little bit of penetrative bowling that they need to find for next season. I always felt this year, I umpired at one of their games, I always felt that the weakness was bowling, and I think everybody knew that. But um, the game, even though on paper it looks closer because GLCC lost 7 wickets, I don't think GLCC was under any kind of threat by Gujarat Lions bowling, right? Uh, and if you look at the scorecard, GLCC scored close to 70 runs in 15 overs. That's a pretty good start, especially Vamsi and Tejas. They just got the inning going really well. Yeah, in the end, the GLCC lost a couple of wickets. I wouldn't say this game was close, even though on paper it looks close. That GLCC won by 3 wickets. But, after Hemant, I think that was a little bit of nerves involved there. But Abhishek and Prabhu kind of stabilized the inning, and then eventually were able to wrap it up with Ankit and Navpreet. So I wouldn't call this a close game in my definition. But GLCC definitely made it interesting in the end. But that happens. I mean, at the end of the day, GLCC won, and that's what matters in playoffs, right? There's no points involved. It's just who wins and who advances to the next round. So Malik, I gotta give him the credit. Malik, Roni, they showed up and they played a good inning, including Dilip in the middle. Otherwise, it could have been a really one-sided game for GLCC.
Interesting. Shravan.
So this is actually quite an interesting game. There's a contrast in both the innings if you observe, right? For example, Gujarat Lions batted first, and they put a decent score, 90 runs. But what is interesting is, at some point, they were like 6 for 67, 7 for 80, and 90 all out. Granted, if not for Maulik in the middle,
You're
gone,
breaking
right?
up. You're breaking
Okay,
up,
can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you,
Hello?
but yeah.
Is it better now?
Yeah, better.
Yeah, I'll come over again. If not for Maulik, this innings would have been like 60, 50 run innings from Gujarat Lions. So GLCC bowled really well. Viral, I know him from a long time, right when he used to play for Rising Stars. So he's a great bowler and it's a great addition to GLCC. So he did a fantastic job with his left arm pace. 90 runs on board GLCC. I thought we'll finish with 3-4 wickets, and I mean by only losing 3-4 wickets, but they won by 3 wickets, so it's okay. But Tejas and Vamshi, I think they're going to make a statement. They're going to attack. So if the guys can go the way they're going right now, I think this is the team to watch for in the next phase.
Okay, the next game totally went one-sided. Fighters versus Detroit Titans. I already said few things, like it's played in DSP and in DSP 2 especially. Chasing, I felt like chasing is a nightmare there. I may be wrong also because all the games that I saw there and at least I umpired there, the chasing teams struggled a lot. Is it the talent or is it the pitch? I don't know. I can't make a clear choice between talent and pitch. Dinesh.
Yeah, so there was a lot made about their captain, the regular captain, not playing this game. I think we discussed on our show too before.
Actually, see, most of our analysts gave this game to Titans.
Yes, we did. Yeah, including.
I think except the Pradip. Pradip,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
I gave Fighters the win here.
Oh, okay. So the big part, I think all of it, there was so much focus on Mahesh not being here, and we now and then tend to forget that it's not a one-man show. There's the rest of them who showed up. So, I mean, the key is like there was a good opening partnership of 12. After that, Sainath and Naveen, the 32 was probably the turning factor. And later on, Mano and Mahendra, they put on 27. That was the difference. Honestly, I think in the chase there was a 29 between Satish and Vihar to sort of negate that first partnership, but the later half of the chase didn't go well. So Naveen, Anil 15 out of 24, then Sainath 15 out of 13, then Naveen 23 out of 14. They set up the first half of it pretty well for fighters, and then Mano with 27 and Mahendra with 16. I think that anything over 100 or 110 is going to be tough to chase, and we've spoken a lot, especially about DSP2. Chasing is difficult. I don't know why. And probably I'm just wondering, the more it just, the pitch is slightly softer, and once the ball starts hitting and it makes its own undulations, and it gets pretty tricky to bat. So we were talking so much about talent versus pitch. I feel with what's happened with the fighters chase itself, is like they were in the game till about the 10th over in the chase. If you look at the worm itself, till the 10th over, it was like pretty neck and neck in terms of how many wickets had gone down. But from there on, they just could not pick up the scoring rate, and they just went nowhere. Very, very good fight from Vihar, and it was one of those games, or probably throughout the season, other analysts can tell me if there's a lot of reliance on Vihar, a very good young talent, but just a lot to do when chasing 110. So other than that, Vihar 11 out of 30, and Satish Gabaji 12 out of 27. And nothing much to write about. Good, strong bowling performance from Mano Reddy and Venkat Vadnala. The old horse is going really strong there. So good, strong win for fighters. And probably going into the next round, I don't know, who do you want to call fighters to have a absolute fighting chance to pull on a couple more upsets? Who knows? Congrats, fighters. Better luck to Detroit Titans. And again, Titans as well. Second season, I believe, in DCL for Titans, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so last year they split, they came through, and yeah, so Satish Gaba as well. He's shown his leadership skills and his experience over the years playing across different leagues, T-ball, leather ball. He's shown what experience can do. So congrats to Satish as well. But fighters emerging victors without the big gun Mahesh. Hoping to see more fight.
Okay, Pradip.
Yeah, and I'm not going to comment too much on the pitch again here, but look, at the end of the day, these guys gave up 116 runs in a playoff game, right? So this is the team that was shown to be a team with a good bowling attack. And look, I get it, right? But at the end of the day, what I saw, and Titans, we played against each other because they were in the same pool. One thing I noticed with Titan is if Prajwal does not play a long inning, their batting is exposed. Okay, and this is something maybe Gava needs to address for next year. With Prajwal is the guy who is a straight bat. You pitch him anything on the leg, he's going to pull it out the left field for 2 or 1 or whatever. But he plays straight, right? And he needs to play a long inning. And getting all out for 44, chasing 116. If you look at the fall of wickets, it's insane, right? So Titans really have something to work on for next year, which is getting their batting straightened out. What I saw without Prajwal, and Bihar, these two guys have to play and score 20 plus runs in order for Titans to have any kind of score. But giving 116, that was probably the most demoralizing thing, and that put Titans under a tremendous amount of pressure. That's my personal opinion. So fighters deserve this win. They scored 116. They're putting 116 in a playoff game is hard against, especially considered an above average good bowling team. And they did what they had to do. And at the end of the day, this is what I mean by execution, right? You can call it execution, you can call it experience, but who was the guy who took 3 wickets? Venkat Wadnala, right? So here's a pitch that's going to most likely help the bowling side, and he was able to execute. Meaning, what do I mean by execution is bowling, you understand the pitch. You played here before. You understand what it does. You have to still bowl those line and lengths. And fighters did it. And that's what got them the win. Convincing win, actually. So good luck to Gaba for next year. Hopefully he addresses the batting weaknesses. But bowling, I think they're good. They need a few all-rounders, I think, in my opinion.
Yeah. Sravan.
Actually, this innings was over after the first innings, if you ask me. This game was over.
After the first innings, yeah.
After the first innings.
Yeah, that's a right statement. Yeah.
I think 116 runs in a playoff, and you have a very good bowling attack to face. And I don't want to say anything about DSP2 like Pradip said, so let's leave it. But 116 runs to put that healthy score, an excellent score on board, and to give bowlers plenty of room to play with is already a win. And I think fighters just executed that to take it easy. And unfortunately, Titans was struggling with their batting. If you look at even in the regular league stage, they were struggling. Somebody else in the middle or lower middle order have been saving them, put runs on the board, and they defended. But in this game, they were chasing and too much pressure. They already lost a lot of wickets by 10th over. Like you see, they were gone. Second innings, their half side was done by 10th over. Like 6 for 40, 5 for 39 by 12th over. So they tried to attack in the middle, but I think it's too much for them and they lost it.
Interesting observation. So let me ask a quick question here, before we go to our next question. So there are 3 teams that battled first and scored more than 100. Fighters did that, Gladiators did that, and Indus Thunders, they scored 130 out of all these. These are the Indus Thunders scored highest. And any chances, if you guys want to predict out of these 3, which will have the better chance to win the cup? I'll start with Dinesh here. Dinesh.
Boy, I think at this stage it looks Indus Thunders, the old war horse with the balance and experience.
Okay. And also they faced a better team in Canton Hurricanes. So
yeah, I mean, I picked Canton Hurricanes purely based off of that energy they had and absolute good momentum coming into the playoffs. I think any team, yeah. So,
Pradip, what do you say?
Yeah, can you repeat that question again, Jagan?
There are 3 teams that scored more than 100 runs. Okay.
Yeah.
116, 123, 130. 130 by Indus Thunders, 123 by Gladiators, 116 by Fighters. Out of these 3 teams, which has the best chance to win the cup?
I am going to go with Glads this year.
Glads. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Sravan.
I think I'll give it to Glads.
Give it to Glads. Okay, Glads 2-1. So let's see what happens. Okay. And then the next game, probably the shocker for, I don't know, shocker for KRCC for the remaining DCL fraternity. maybe it's a joy, because anytime, no, see, anytime the psychology is, is this: anytime any defending champion comes back, and when KRCC is not an easy team, they have one of the best talents in Michigan. That much I can say. Okay, and they can win any other day. Any other day, the same game they would have won very easily. Okay, so when the it's a natural psychology that everybody wants the better team to lose. Okay, we are all underdog supporters. There's no doubt, unless my own team is playing. Okay, so uh, so is so basically, can we call any game as a shocker? So that's my basic question. A team, Detroit Bulls, they scored just 44 and they defended that one. So then, can we call that one as underdog? That's a big question for me. I'll start with Dinesh. Dinesh, what do you say?
I don't know. I want to stick my neck out and say I did call Detroit Bulls, I believe, for this game. I went back. So funny. The first thing I did, I think midway through I left, and I knew it was going to be a tough chase for KRCC from where they were at, and how, man, the kind of energy Bulls. I'm thinking I should just stop playing cricket is what I was thinking on my way back, because kind of energy they showed. Oh my God, that's absolute team performance. And when you're defending, you have nothing to lose, and all of that is just a cliche statement. They just showed it, and people standing out. I know at least one of those guys who did not play the game, and he lost his voice, is what he told me after the game. So it was just a big thing to watch, at least till the first half of the chase, and then come back and to realize it's just unbelievable. What else can I say? No. So I came home. The first thing I did was go back to the predictions just for this particular game, and to revisit what I said. I'm like, yeah, it's not too bad. So just a gut feeling. I mean, but on the other side, KRCC, what can you say? That's why we all are here, and we know the KRCC model and even Gladiators model. Part of the reason why I picked, Indus Thunders versus Glads out of the three which you asked, we've still not spoken about Detroit Bulls. It's like from heart out of heart, it's like we want that sort of talent to win. But who says that sort of talent is the only way to win? It's like, you can assemble if you can afford it, and you can assemble. Not everyone is going to come to a team just because you do all of what KRCC are doing and Glads are doing. Not everybody, all of the stars are going to show up on your side, right? And tomorrow, if I decide that I'm going to assemble this sort of a team, they're not just going to come. So there's a certain amount of belief, and there's a certain amount of chemistry, and however it is, it's like you can call it marketing, and it's just management end of the day. So that's why these teams, we know the model, but still what Detroit Bulls did is like good for the league. That's why we play sports, is all I have to say. So,
Okay.
yep.
Yeah. So see, let me tell you this story in a different way.
Uh-huh.
Detroit. See, I'm not taking anything away from Detroit Bulls, but kudos to Jasneet Singh here. Okay. Say, after all, everybody thinks KRCC manipulates a lot of stuff. They add people without playing. All this. I heard a lot of things about that one. But that day I was watching this match, and umpire gave LBW bat pad, and none in KRCC team, including their captain, they don't want to take that decision back. When leg umpire said it is bat after giving the decision. Okay, and so the main umpire was asking the KRCC captain, but they were reluctant to call the batsman back. At that time, Jasneet took it on himself and started, talking to their own team, their captain, and made sure that the guy played the game. They called that batsman back.
Awesome.
And that guy ended up scoring those additional 5 runs.
Nice.
Okay, that's one incident. The second incident also happens to be Jasneet Singh. Okay, he was batting. No doubt, it's a caught behind. Everybody appealed. It's a high pressure game. Okay, and Empire, he did not hear anything. He said not out. But instead of staying back at the crease, Jasneet preferred to walk.
Wow.
He walked. Okay, these are the two things. Jasneet, all he needs is one ball in his zone to score those 5 runs. One hit, he can clear easily. So these are the two things. Probably, in the history, everybody may forget about that one. If we go back, in the down the line, another next year or 2 lines down the line, 2 years down the line, we only think like Detroit Bulls won that game. But these are the things, um, you game changing things. I don't know whether KRCC lost, but they won. I mean, no doubt KRCC lost, but they won my heart. Okay, I was sitting there watching this game, so I saw with my own eyes what happened there. So with that, I'll go to Pradeep.
Wow.
Yeah,
I just presented my
that
different
was,
story here. So
yeah, no, that was very well said, Jagan. I think I would have to agree with you. Anybody else, and this is where the sportsmanship comes in, right? Uh, Regardless of what position you're in, that's when you have to make the toughest decisions, right?
yes,
You have the team, you have the confidence to win, but little things like this can change the outcome of the game. And Justmeet did what the right thing, really, because that's really the right thing to do if you're a true sports fan, right? You don't want to umpires make mistakes all the time, but it's up to the opposing batsman to call the batsman in, and Justmeet did the right thing, and kudos to him. Hats off to him too, because very few guys that I know will do what he did.
so this is
Having
the
said that,
second. This is the second incident I have seen. This with the KRCC, and there was another match, Pokris versus Raptors, and Ravi was the captain of Pokris at that time. Same bat pad given to Botta, Ravi called him back, even though his teammates were against it, but Ravi called back. So these are the things generally people forget, but you know when whenever such thing happen, these are all the things that come into my mind.
yeah,
I'm
no,
sorry,
I mean
sorry to cut you, Pradeep.
no, that's okay, because these are the things that needs to be highlighted, right?
True.
And the reason why it used to be called a gentleman's game is exactly the reason why Justin did what he did, right? So, and in hindsight, I'm sure he's kicking himself in the butt, and he's like, "Why did I do that?" Right? We had the game, we could have won the game, whatever the reasons are, but he took the right decision, and that's what matters the most at the end of the day. And there are lots of guys like this, but we don't hear about it often enough. And that's
True.
I'm happy that you brought it up, because you set the example, right? When people hear these stories, they tend to follow along the same lines, and that's how you kind of set an expectation, really, so to speak. But having said that, let's go back to the game. Um, Dinesh, kudos to you for calling for Detroit Bulls.
Yep.
But I can assure you, I love Detroit Bulls. I love the energy they bring. They have a great bowling unit. But defending 44, I didn't think they could do it, right? And they pulled a miracle, just like Miracle Software did yesterday. And bringing that back, I would like to apologize to Kaushik, who I ended up calling him Lokesh all the time. I even went and shook his hand and called him Lokesh, but I apologize. I just want to get that out. But having said that, Detroit Bulls is a very young, energetic team, and I can tell you this: 2 out of 3 times they don't win this game. Okay, and I'm going to take that to the bank. Yes, they lost it. KRCC should have won this game easily with the depth of the batting lineup that they have. But this is the reason why we play the game, right? Just because you have 12 stars that were paid to show up, right? Nothing against these guys because they play with passion, and that's what I really like. Yes, getting paid to show up is good, but getting paid to show up and perform is even better. They won the cup last year. I wish I could say the same thing about Raptors. That's a different story. We'll get to it in a minute. But having said that, kudos to Bulls. Let's see how far they go. But I still think that they have great expectations now, especially beating KRCC. Anybody that plays against the Bulls is going to be an underdog. But I still see the weakness in Bulls, the batting. And these types of games don't happen often enough, right? But at the end of the day, they pulled a miracle, really did. And all kudos to Detroit Bulls. I love these guys. I hope they can go as far as they can this year. But, you know, KRCC lost this game at the end of the day. That's what it comes down to. They could have easily went after they needed 5 runs. And Jagan and I were talking about this. Like, all you got to do is just go hit the bowler for a 6. That's it. The game's done. But that's when the chasing, the pressure comes in, right? It's like it's going to make the batsman to get into a shell that he shouldn't be in that time. I think they lost 3 or 4 wickets in for 1 run. Yeah.
True.
Yep.
So from 36 for 6, you go 39 all out.
Yep. 38, 38, 38, 39, 39.
Yeah. So, and look at the batsmen they lost, right?
Zuban, Rayan, Jasneet,
Rayan, Zuban. It's insane. Nobody would have expected this. But look, at the end of the day, this was probably one of the best games to watch, with the exception of Pokies and Legends. But I think this was something that I don't think can happen. I can tell you KRCC wins this game 2 out of 3 times. Okay? And it was Bulls Day, and they won. Kudos to them for believing in themselves, because it's easy to put your shoulders down and walk away. And that's why I love the game. Is you still have to show up, you still have to play, and Bulls did what they were supposed to do with all their energies and putting the pressure on KRCC to pull a magic out of the hat. Congratulations to Bulls.
Sravan.
So we talked about a lot of dogs last week, if you remember. long weekend. So this was one of the upsets. Okay.
Upsets.
So,
Okay.
And we have seen year and year one of these will happen. If you go back in every year, you'll see one of this. Unfortunately, it's very unfair for KRCC to be here, but it is what it is. It's a game of cricket. Whoever wins, there's some luck factor, like the way you said about Jasneet, right? And it's gentlemanship and a great gesture by him, but the luck factor for the batsman who scored runs, right?
Yeah.
If I see it that way. So one critical observation, I think, is Bulls, for example, they were batting first. They were 6 for 8, 9 overs.
You got a wonderful point. Yeah, I completely forgot about that one. Yes.
6 for 8, and then comes a partnership. Maybe that's the guy who got lucky. They score 7 for 30, and then a little more. They go for 8 for 42 and 10 for 44 allowed. On the flip side, let's look at KRCC. They're 6 for 36 at 11 overs. 6 for 36. And at that point, they all need just 8 runs. Or 9 runs.
Oh my God.
Good one.
Man, the way you explain these games, you bring in some fear into anybody.
No, it's not fear. It's just an observation, right?
Yeah. I agree. But
probably
there's
different view,
called,
right?
There's something called presentation, right? That your presentation, your presentation of this game will create fear. Any playoff team, who are listening this one, they'll have some fear in their heart. That's what I'm trying to say.
No,
sorry to stop you. Please go ahead.
We spoke about the dogs last week. Then this time we have to talk about dark comedy or dark mystery. How are you presenting it? Is it dark comedy or dark? Whatever you
If you
want.
look at, I'll tell you the history also. History is always repeating itself, right? It's an evolution, right? It just changed its form. So we'll come to that later.
Yeah.
But the thing is, Bulls, kudos to them. They believed in themselves. Like Pradip said, he put it really nicely. Maybe 2 out of 3 times, maybe this won't happen. This happened to be a one-time chance. So, and this Bulls believed in themselves. They defended the score, and they are in the next stage. So they did the work. They believed in it, and just to give a little bit of credit to Bulls, they are a great unit. They showed it in the league stage. You can see they also topped table for a long time. They had a lot of points on the name. So it's just not luck. So they have a good team. They have good chemistry, and I believe they might surprise us going forward as well. So in this game, that's all I have to add. Hard luck KRCC is all I can tell. Hard luck.
Yeah, hard luck. Yes. The next game is United Raptors versus Red Devils. There's a controversy in this game, and one of the Raptors player, he left. He said he went to get a coffee, which took 12 hours. That's a different story. Okay, and Red Devils did not allow him based on the rule, and the guy is very close to Red Devils, so definitely a new rivalry started. That much I can say. United Raptors versus Red Devils, which I can see yesterday also. When the game between Ford and Miracle is happening. Definitely there is some rivalry I could see between the players there, which is out of this game. Okay, Dinesh.
Well, I mean, I can witness it was definitely. I can vouch that it was a long drive to get coffee from another league. I unfortunately I haven't. I don't know. I don't want to create another controversy and go apologize later again. Okay, we'll leave it at that. I think it's well documented. Whatever happened. So Raptors. I thought they did pull it back together. So it was completely a wavered season for Raptor standards. They themselves are going to agree. We touched upon this factor through the season as it was happening. The captaincy was changed, and then even in this game, I think it was a different captain for. Some reasons. I think Ashok was not. He didn't play the game, so if he
was
played,
in
then,
India.
yeah. So then there was. So those sorts of things were there, and the personnel changes as well. The so-called stars didn't play throughout the season, and all of that added up. This is what I had called for the Indus Thunders game, where the stars don't play regularly, and eventually they show up for the knockout game, and then you just can't expect magic day in day out, and things like this would happen. So, I mean, details. I think that Hitesh, his innings of 23 out of 57, along with one of the upcoming stars, Krishna Chaitanya. So, he's a very less known name, but a very capable cricketer, especially from a batting front. So he contributed the 10 lower down the order to get them up to 79. Good, strong performance by Sai Karodi. I wish this guy could bat a little bit more. He'll be one of the stars. He concentrates on his outswingers / leg cutters. 4 wickets, not surprised. And Devraj Patel as well, 3 wickets to restrict them to 79, knowing the Raptors batting lineup there. So for the Chase, this is what we expected from Red Rebels. Soumit, Gagan, Sharath, one of the, if you say Sai and Sharath, they play together, or they used to play together in one team a couple of years ago. So Sharath as well, from the beginning, you Jagan, bro, you're a big fan of Sharath, right? So he could bowl slower Chinaman before his shoulder injury. Now he bowls only medium pace, I believe. But with his 17 in there, Sai Gautam coming and finishing things off with that partnership. So Sai Karodi, Sharad Sai, Gautam, all of these guys contributing to that Red Devils victory. Good to see that. And Swarna Raho coming in to put the icing on the cake, 8 out of 5. So comfortable win in 14 overs against Raptors. I think not surprising result from what the analysts had predicted as well. I think a couple of guys, we went more with reputation than anything else. So congrats to Red Devils. And maybe if things work out the way things have to work out for Red Devils, we might see a new champion this year.
Okay, so I became a fan of Sai Gautam Rangu. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
He is. I like his attitude towards the game.
True.
So, yeah. Pradip.
Yeah, I called Raptors to win this one, and I'm going to lay it all out. I'm going to go on record to say this. Take this as you may, but I am completely disappointed by Raptors. This is the third year they've done what they've done. They tried to take good players, but the good players don't show up when it's needed the most, right? And Raptors really have to go back and take a look at Sai. I don't know if he still manages Raptors or not, but you guys really have to go back and take a look at what you have with your team and what you want to do going forward. Because I personally believe you dismantle this team and start fresh, completely. Wipe this out. Because every player that you guys have, I know some of these guys personally. I am so disappointed with these bunch of guys. Is they show up, they are the kings of the regular season. Come playoff time, they lose the first round. I don't know if they've gone past semifinals yet, right? So I am sick and tired of rooting for these guys. You seriously have to take a look at what you got going and change the strategy of recruiting your players. And if anybody's looking to go to Raptors, please don't. Because you're not going to win a cup. You're not going to win a cup. You are not going to win a cup with these guys. You're not. So stop it. And if I would personally dismantle this team and call it something else, I really would, because I'm so sick and tired of these guys showing up and losing the very first round. This is the third year they've done this. They've taken all the players from different teams. They've made those teams weaker, and they don't show up. They don't show up. And I'm completely devastated by these guys. I'm going to say that, and I'm going to shut up. I have no other comments, Jagan.
Okay. Sravan.
So, apart from the controversy, let's leave it aside. Jagan, I don't want to step into that. Raptors, like Pradip said, is a strong unit with a lot of expectations. I personally felt they should have scored more than 100. So 80 with a team like Red Devils to chase is not enough. So they have depth in their batting. They also have basic scout for the bowling. So 80 was not enough, and I think Red Devils were all over them with the bat and with ball. So that's all I can add. Red Devils well played, and I think they can go a long way in this league.
Long way in this, yeah. Okay. The next game, the less we talk about this game is better for the league. Dynamites versus Stars. Okay. Quickly ended. Dinesh.
Yeah, I mean, no surprises. Dynamites, the batting, somehow they lacked intent throughout the tournament on various fronts. Even when they were winning those games, it was big kudos to Murugan, Kandanaka. So Murugan was somehow was the only sole performer in terms of the batting. So just didn't click on that day, and formidable bowling unit like Stars and Dynamites, just a complete mismatch, and it showed in the first innings. Dynamites just couldn't get out of the blocks at all, and it can happen. It's just one of those seasons. But with that sort of a batting for them to have made it to the playoffs, considering what happened last year, I think we have to give it to Vijay Shanmugam for at least getting it to the playoffs with such limitations this year in their batting. But congrats to Stars. Hopefully Dynamites can fix the batting and go a little further down in the league next year.
Okay. Brady, you want to add any comment?
I don't have much to add except this was a West Bloomfield keep, right?
Yes.
So this is supposed to be. Yeah, I agree with Dinesh. Batting is a weakness for Dynamites, but even bowling with this one, Stars I think has shown, I should say, they can do both bat and bowl, right? Look at the scores. They got them out for 39, and they wrapped it up in 6 overs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that tells me Stars is definitely a team to look out for. And the next game, Stars and Indus, I'm really looking forward to this one.
Oh yeah. So the next game, Sravan.
No problem, Jagan. So I think we have nothing to add. Dynamites really didn't put enough runs on the board. Star is class all over with the ball, and getting them out for 39 runs is already a win right there. And the batsman did the formality,
Yeah, easy peasy.
There's no competition here.
Yeah.
Lemon squeezy.
Yeah. Probably instead of this is how instead of Dynamites, any other team would have given a better, fight. Is what I felt. Okay, with that, I'll go to the next game: Gladiators versus MCC Miles. MCC Miles. There were a lot of hopes on these guys. Everybody was, again, it's a psychological thing. Everybody wants my MCC Miles to beat Gladiators, and and the expectation is more because they have done it once. So everybody want the same thing we repeated again, but it's going to be same thing. Very, if we ask KRCC and Bulls to play tomorrow, I'm damn sure everybody will pick KRCC as the winners, in their predictions. So probably it's the same thing with MCC Miles with Gladiators. Dinesh, any thoughts?
Yeah, the only thoughts is quick comparison between KRCC Bulls and Glads and MCC Miles. Farm, Glad's better farm, same model which I spoke about. So Glad's better farm versus KRCC this season. They started off pretty slow, and especially Hardeep Singh has clicked at the right time for them, and he just took the game away even in this one. 65 out of 55 in such sort of a game. I mean, kudos to him, and he's done it in a couple of other games as well, ending up with 1, 2, 3, good score. And MCC Miles versus Detroit Bulls. Bulls are in a better form versus MCC Miles, right? So if you think the underdog form, Bulls were better, and the upper dog form, Glads were better, and I think that's what happened. So congrats to Glads. And MCC Miles, it's just felt on and off. It's there. It's a little bit of a different headache to what Raptors have had. The team is there. It is just people hitting form. More than a couple of people hitting form is what can get them there. So yeah, better luck next time for MCC Miles. But again, congrats to making it to the playoffs on an on and off season. Glad speaking at the right season, making it for a mouth-watering semifinals.
Okay, then Pradi.
Yeah, I think the outcome was expected, right? Lads won as they should. What surprised me is, well, I think Hardeep should be going number 4. I think that's the right place for him because it takes him a little while to get going because he just wants to slow down the inning. But if you look at the scoring chart, they were 60 runs after 17 overs. So the last 8 overs resulted in over 60 runs, right? So that tells me that Hardeep got going. It took him a while, but he got going in the end. And also Fahim Ul Islam scored a brisk 16 as well. But at the end of the day, I think there was no surprise here. MCC, yes, to Dinesh's point, I think they've been very inconsistent all year. They have the team. They can actually surprise a few teams. I think they also need a little bit of bowling strength on their end just to kind of tighten those innings because, yes, Glatch is a great batting unit, but, playoffs, you got to manage that. 120 is way too many, though, I think. So kudos to Glatch and bad luck, MCC Miles.
Sravan.
So this game actually, like Jagan, you started very well, right? So MCC Miles, everybody predicted MCC Miles to beat Gladiators, and even I thought MCC Miles can beat Gladiators, but Gladiators are really strong, like the name says. They put a good total, like 123, huge total. Hardeep played a great innings of 65. He got support from Aditya Atal and Fahim Islam in the middle. But 123, chasing 123, MCC Miles did have a good start, if you ask me. They lost their first wicket, 1 for 6, but 2 for 33, 3 for 36, and they were there for 2 for 33. They were really there to chase us down. But they lost their way in the middle. One thing I don't understand, and this has been the question I have when I did ask Rahul multiple times, is why do they really send him so low? And he's a guy who actually killed Gladiators last year. He's
You
a
mean
guy
Rahul
who's not
Channa?
out today. Rahul Channa, yes.
Yeah.
He's a guy who's not out in this game, and there was no support for him. To be honest with you, there was no support because he's so low down the order, and nobody even tried to resist. So I'm glad they scored 80 runs, but they're way short of scoring rate. So Gladiators did the job, and they are looking really strong to see one more final possibly.
True. Okay. The next game is SLCC Legends versus Pokeries, the best game of the weekend. That much I can say because it went to the wire. Basically, this is by just looking at. I was watching this game, and I also looked at the scorecard after coming back, and it's Legends missed the last 5 balls. Those 5 balls made the difference. Is what I felt because whereas Pokeries won at the in the last over 24.5 overs they used. So that is the only difference between win and loss. That's how I felt it. So you can easily imagine how great this game progresses throughout first innings and second innings. With that, Dinesh.
Yeah, so I got to this game towards the fag end of the first innings. So the first comment I heard was that big partnership between Ravi Tej, Pujari, and Harish, right? So that was like 51 runs. After that, a quick string of wickets. And to add to your point, one of the Pokeries guys, a buddy who plays along with me in another league, he mentioned, why do people take power play unnecessarily? Obviously, the last 3 overs is mandatory power play, and the way they were going, they took the power play and everybody was singing for glory, and they ended up not paying 25. So that might be the difference of how or when they took the power play and why they did have to go for that. Nobody knows. And in a game like this, when they have the bowling attack in that pitch where the last year's final and the year before final happened on the same pitch at NOVI Power Park. So knowing the history of those pitches or that particular pitch, I don't know, probably they went too hard is what I'm thinking hindsight. And coming to the chase, was looking at how these guys were preparing for the chase and the kind of throwdowns with the intent, if there's anything like that, and what Ravi was emulating was like very surprising for me. That was a big learning on how he was predicting. Pretty much, I think he was doing a human robot arm of emulating the bowlers from the opposition. Like, this guy is going to bowl this, the other guy is going to bowl this, to all of those batters who came down for throwdown. So that's kudos to Ravi and his experience. And they didn't start off well. Vicky getting out of the first ball, then Prasna went out pretty early. The big change here, Neil opening the batting. I don't know if this is the first time in the entire season Neil has opened or not. I believe that might be the case because it was Saranraj and Vicky who were opening the batting. For whatever the think tank thought that Saranraj should come that late down the order, who knows. Neil stayed till about the 17th over. Then Prabhu played a very important innings there. Those 18 balls and how he manipulated or soaked up the pressure. There's so much pressure being generated by legends and the kind of team effort. To hear that and to hear what the Detroit Bulls diagonally across were doing was a treat to watch for neutral spectator like me. Then Raghu, he played his part 6 out of 16. Then Saranraj, he came 19 out of 26. Then Gautam, 20 out of 27 was good. But that 6 was a crucial 6 when the scores were going neck to neck. And key part, Ranjit coming up above Satish Mani, a lefty bat. Ranjit coming up and hitting the 2D was a big difference in there. Nothing to take away from the bowlers. They bowled really well. Srikanth, the 3 wickets, and Harish did no harm to his reputation, both with bat and ball. Just fell short by one ball at the end, but good hard-fought victory for Pokeries. It was a 50-50 game, and Pokeries winning it.
With this question, I'll go to Pradeep. I don't know who was leading Legends. They made a bad decision. The captain made a bad decision by bowling Nitin Parsa. I was looking at his stats when they brought in when that guy was bowling. I thought he's very he might have played too many games with them. At least 7-8 games with this team. And I thought he's a good striker, like at least at an average of 2-3 wickets, that kind of guy, or at least 2 wickets, or if not economical. Okay, so I went and checked his stats. He only played 4 games with Legends, and his average, he bowled 10 overs, which is not even 3 overs per game, and his average is around close to 5 runs, and the lefty was batting. Raghu was batting, and they have
Sai Pratap.
They have very good off spinner in Sai Pratap. I don't know why instead of giving the ball to him, they gave it to Nitin. That's one question. Okay, I'm fine. The first over went bad. Then they shouldn't have brought him back, is what I felt. Especially Sai was bowling really well. He bowled three overs, and he just gave away 8 runs, and they were literally struggling at that moment. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know about their thinking there. Okay, Pradeep, your thoughts?
Yeah, and you and I were talking about this, right?
Yeah,
we were watching on from the other
actually,
side.
after coming home, I looked at the stats. Before I make any statement, I wanted to make sure how are the stats. Yeah, sorry.
No,
Continue.
I mean, look. At the end of the day, I think Sai Pratap was a better off spinner. I think he could have bowled more. But at the end, look, they needed about 5 runs per over for the last 8 overs, and definitely bowling that guy Nitin was not a good idea at the time that they brought him. They have 5 established bowlers who bowled really tight line and length, and I don't know why you need to experiment with a new bowler in this particular situation, right? You got the pressure on Pokeries the way you wanted to. They need 5 runs per over, and you brought another over from Nitin. Nitin shouldn't have bowled, period, but he definitely shouldn't have bowled the second over. But anyway, that's water under the bridge. But what I saw, the last 5 overs between Saranraj and Gautam was the crucial partnership that changed the game here, right? and Gautam 6 against Narnang changed the game completely. And that was the game that they had tremendous amount of pressure, and that I think that over cost them about 10 runs, or 10 or 11 runs, I can't remember exactly. But that was the most expensive over, and that took the stress out of Pokeries. I gotta give Pokeries a lot of credit on this one, because any other time Pokeries would have buckled under pressure.
So
but having Saran,
Pradip, that was a 23rd over. It costed. I mean, they ended up scoring 13 runs that over.
Yeah, I thought it was 10, close to 10, but 13
13,
even more.
13. Yeah.
So that changed the game, and they didn't have too much pressure in the end, because they needed that little bit of runs in the middle towards, I think it was the 22nd over, maybe 22nd or 21st. I can't
23rd over.
Yeah.
24th bowled by Guru, last over by Harish.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that over changed the game, and kudos to Gautam. He hit that massive 6. That took the pressure out of the balloon, right? That inflated balloon. And I gotta give credit to Pokeries on this one, because they really took the game out of Legends. This was a Legends game until the 22nd over, or 23rd over. Even Narne coming in, and who thought Narne would get hit for 13, right?
Yeah.
And he did. So kudos to Pokeries, and they didn't succumb to pressure like in the past. And I appreciate what they have done so far, and I wish them good luck, even though it's against my GSCC. So anyway, I'm gonna shut up.
Okay. Sravan.
Well, actually, this game, I feel Pokeries has great chemistry and great thinking ability, but Legends is a stronger team on paper. I felt they could have easily won this. One thing that really surprised me is, yes, power play can be a boon or a bane. Mostly it was the other way around, right? They were really going well with the bat. 6 for 75, 22 overs, let's put it this way. And 10 for 83 in 24.1. They're done right there. At 10 runs more, maybe the game could have been gone somewhere else.
Yeah.
But kudos to Pokeries. They pulled things down. They put the score in check so that they can chase it. They got things under control. With the great start they had, Legends could have gone 100 plus easily. So they contained them to 83, which is chaseable. And Pokeries have the batting and depth because they're more stronger in batting than bowling. So the bowling really came to the party, and it really had them pretty much in their hands. However, Legends did start well. Apart from Neil, top 5-6 people struggled. All the 5 other players who showed up struggled. They couldn't score runs. So it was between Neil and Sunraj. That's when they made a good partnership. You see, 5 for 31 to 6 for 44. They were there. Sun for 79. Again, Gautam and Sunraj. Right. What I was told is, if not for Gautam, this game was gone.
Yes.
So Gautam is an old Legends player.
Excellent. Yes. On my way back, that's what I told him. I met Gautam and I said, you scored against your ex team, and he was like, I feel bad for that. That's what he said.
Okay. I'm watching that. I'm watching that 6 as you guys are talking. Oh my God, that was a great shot. Okay.
So good luck to Pokeries. Hopefully they'll make it to one more playoffs. Next one, and go to the finals. Hopefully they'll win a cup. But good luck to them.
Okay, the next one and last one is Thunders versus Canton Hurricanes. Thunders. So the only fear factor for me is such games. Only one is, if you look at Gladiators or this one, only one guy ended up playing very well, and that is the reason they have this huge score of 123 or 130. In the Gladiators case, it is Hardeep, and in Indus Thunders, it is Praveen Bangiera who ended up scoring 74 or something like that, 74 or 75, something like that. So that's the scary part for anybody. If these guys don't score, it's like 130 minus 74. Even so, which is a chaseable score, right? So at least even if you take out 30 runs, you're looking at 100 runs, right? So they chased. The chase was, they were able to score 95 runs. That's the only scary part when I look at these scores. With that, Dinesh, your thoughts?
Yeah, the big thing which I'm seeing here is like, Praveen going at that strike rate on one end, just looking at only the partnerships. If you go to the charts, look at only the partnerships. So Praveen was involved in all of those partnerships from top to bottom, and in the middle with Madhu and with Naresh 27 and 35, and then with Chetan another 30, and with Shrikant another 20. So the only good thing which Indus Thunders can take out of this game is those different partnerships or the other people who played along with Praveen. 11 from Madhu, 15 from Naresh, 13 from Chetan, and 8 from Shrikant. So all of that contributing in those partnerships. Whereas if you look at Hurricanes, Najid played some, he was involved in about 4 partnerships where there was only one which was 35, and the others were nothing out of nothing substantive out there. So that's the only good thing for Indus Thunders. A good show by Praveen, and they eventually comfortably won with 35. And more so, I'm thinking, it was just the batting or the batting superstars or the batting difference which showed up for Kenton Hurricanes here. But very well played. Adarsh Nair, his captaincy throughout, we've all spoken about that. A sleeping giant, and they've been silent assassins throughout the tournament, and were very, very well done, Canton Hurricanes. Happy for you guys. Hard luck. That's what playoffs are, and very well done, Indus Thunders.
Pradip.
Yeah, I mean, there's no surprises here, with the exception that it was almost like a Bangiera show. But Naresh and Madhu, yeah, there was quite a few contributions here, even though Bangiera ended up with 74. One thing that stands out, I don't see a couple of names playing this game like Jalaj and others. Hopefully they're available, but Indus Thunders this year seems a little more, what's the word I'm looking for? Vulnerable. Okay.
Yeah.
They're not really consistent. It's not the same Indus Thunders in the past that I've seen anyway. And they still, I'm not saying they don't have a great team. They do, because a lot of these guys play together all the time, which is really good to see. But they seem somehow a little vulnerable to me this year. This was an expected outcome. I don't think Canton could have beaten this team. What surprised me is Naj was able to hit 3 sixes. I don't know who he hit them for. But Pandeti ball 5, Manoj ball 5, not very economical compared to what they can do. So, yeah, so they seem a little vulnerable. I don't know if it's too much cricket or not, but hopefully Indus Thunders can get back to their old form, because the next game that they're playing is going to be a really exciting game in my view. So, having said that, I'm gonna stop. I think Thunders did a great job. They won the game. They should have won anyway. So that's my thought.
Sravan.
So at least I predicted Indus to win this. Canton really did play good throughout the year in the league stage. They have solid batting, very disciplined bowling. So what I came to know after the game is Sravan Bangiera had multiple chances. So the fault of Canton Hurricanes. Let's put it this way.
Oh, okay. That is something I don't know. Okay.
Whoa.
So it's okay. End of the day, Praveen is really a great player, and Praveen Bhai has been playing great for a long time, and he takes his chances. He's known for it. So when he gives chances, we have to catch it. Otherwise, he'll kill
True.
the opposition. And that's exactly
So,
what happened here.
that's true with any superstar.
Right. True with any superstar, and he's no different. And he showed his class. And if you look at it, 3 6s and 3 4s, so he kept on taking his chances.
Yeah.
So well played, Indus, and hopefully all other players in Indus show up to the next game, because that's a team that has good depth in bat, with bat and with ball. So hopefully, they come back stronger. They put a great performance next week, this Saturday, obviously, and then look forward to the Pono finals, because if there's no KRCC, it can be anybody's cup now, and all these people probably are looking up.
Yes, of course. Still, there are 2 more teams, right? Indus Thunders and Gladiators. Yeah. Okay. With that, we have completed all the games. Let's quickly predict, and we'll see. I'm going to ask: will there be any surprise this weekend? Upset. I'll start with Dinesh.
Are we going game by game, or?
Let's say I'll go game by game, but this is my first question. Next, I'll go game by game.
No, I don't think we are going to see anything major because of that matchup between Detroit Bulls and Fighters. I think that sort of is set up really well. But the rest of it, I don't think we can call it to be any outright favorites in the other 3 games there.
Okay.
No surprises, no.
Pradip, what do you say?
I would agree with Dinesh on this one.
Sravan.
So one game I think I'm really looking forward is Bulls versus Fighters. Everything else should be competition,
Yeah. Okay, so let's go by game. Gladiators versus Red Devils. Dinesh.
Sravan, go first.
Okay. Let me go in a reverse direction. Okay, Sravan.
So I'll give it to Red Devils this time.
Red Devils. Okay, fantastic. Okay. Pradip.
I'll give it to Glads.
1-1 tie. Dinesh.
Red Devils. Why? I think overall Red Devils have had a slightly better season than Glads.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so. There was a little bit of a dip in between from Red Devils, but consistently they've been more than a few players is what I'm thinking, but there's always dependency on Swarna Raho, and Glads there's always dependency on Hardeep Singh in the current scenario. So if you take those 2 guys out, if the rest of it, I think Red Devils, especially from a batting front, they have the Gagan Singhs, and the rest of them have contributed a little bit better.
Gladiators are number 1 team overall in the league, right? With 55 points in their belt, and they lost only 1 game.
Yeah.
And that too, strikers. That's the only game they lost.
Right at the beginning. Yep. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Praddy.
He called it.
Glad.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Yeah,
it's a reverse direction, right? So
yes,
I'm going in circle. Sorry about that. Okay.
No
the next game is GLCC versus Pokeries. Sravan.
GLCC.
Interesting. Praddy, I know. There's no point in asking Praddy.
Yeah, no. This is I'm going to give you my explanation as to why. Okay. It's historically GLCC has won. There was one game that Pokeries won a long time ago, but after that, GLCC has dominated Pokeries. And Pokeries' weakness is still they are balanced this year for sure. There's no doubt. But I think GLCC has the upper hand on this one.
Interesting. Dinesh, what do you say?
GLCC.
Interesting. The last time GLCC beat Pokeries, I think GLCC had a very good spinner. Okay. Now, the Pokeries have a good spinner in Raghu. Okay. So, That's something we'll see and how it goes.
Yeah, the biggest reason is going to be this is outright batting matchup. Whichever team bats better is going to win it for sure.
Very well said. Very well
Is
said.
how
Yeah.
I'm seeing it. But that
Mm.
being said, pokeries have been a little suspect in the last few games from a batting front. So that's the big thing. And that big chase where who I think Lads were the one chased 144, I believe, against Pokeries. So that
Yes.
sort of has dented a little bit of their bowling or shown a little bit of their bowling weaknesses as well. So compared to all of that, I'm thinking it might be on paper GOCC. To be fair.
It's see, if I have to put it in a one sentence, I'll say, if Navpreet clicks,
Oh
that's it.
yeah,
The game is over there.
yeah.
Okay, that we'll go to next game. Detroit Bulls versus Fighters. This is going to be a very very interesting game. And Dinesh.
Okay, this one I'm getting it first. I'm just going with Detroit Bulls with what they achieved. It's very tough to call. I probably call the other three games and not call this one, but I just would like to see Bulls win for no reason. I don't know.
I mean, it's like this, general psychology, based on psychology and based on the people that I talked.
Uh-huh.
Fighters have created a fear in their opposition by beating Titans with 72 runs. 72 runs is a huge margin. Okay,
Agree.
Bulls, even though they beat a very good team in KRCC, very good team and since a potential winner and defending champion. What people are thinking is they're still thinking that it's a luck. They won. It's a pure luck because they could only manage score 40 plus, and and it's everybody's thinking that it's pure overconfidence by KRCC, and they ended up losing this game. That's how they are thinking. So everybody's thinking that Fighters are going to win this game. Okay, Freddy.
Yeah, I'll disagree. I think Bulls have the upper hand. There's a couple of reasons. Well, look, Bulls batting might be suspect, but they were facing one of the best bowling attacks in DCL, right? And scoring 44 against and defending it, that was really good. There are a couple of things going for Bulls right now. They are high. Maybe that might work against them. I don't know. But they have a lot of confidence and momentum going into this game. I'm going to call Bulls on this one.
Okay. So did I ask Sravan?
Not yet.
No,
Sravan.
You can ask now.
Yeah. I forgot my sequence. So sorry.
Yeah, you went 3-2-1, 1-2-3, and you went
Yeah.
other
Yeah.
way. So anyway.
I should. I'd say I should blame it on Dinesh. I had my own way. Suddenly, if you ask me to change,
He confused
I'm
you.
not.
Yeah.
I'm not at any age where I can pick up dynamically. My mind is programmed. Okay, sorry, Sravan.
So irrespective of the sequence, I think I'll give it to Bulls.
Bulls.
Ooh,
Okay.
So Bulls, yeah,
wow.
I'll give it to Bulls, and
Nice.
they're both equally strong teams. They're both evenly poised. They have their weaknesses. They have their strengths, and they're both equally in chemistry wise. Also, they're fond of each other. Both teams. Okay, they're
Where is
friends
this game
either side.
happening? Quarterfinals.
So for me, I'm picking Bulls because they were consistent throughout.
Okay.
Fighters did make it a playoff. Fighters did fight. There's no question. But there's some kind of lag, I would say, in fighters that might go against them in this game. But because of the spark that Bulls showed, because of the fight they showed, I would like to give it to Bulls.
So for that
Okay.
particular game, I think between Bulls and Fighters, I'm thinking Fighters are at a disadvantage because they won by 71 runs. Compared to both games, I think Fighters had it easy, but Bulls had to fight hard. So that's why I'm kidding.
Okay.
Again, I didn't take just the last game into account. Like somebody
Yeah,
said,
true, not true. Yeah, true.
they probably won once, but next time they face, I doubt it.
Mm-hmm.
Who recovers from 10 for 6 for 10 to 44 and win a game?
Bulls.
Bulls, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's a monument task.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
and nobody will do a Jasneet act. Just tell you.
Yeah. True.
Very less people do it.
Yeah.
I had a fight with my team when I did it with one in one game for Punjab Warriors. They only had a team for 1 year, but there was one umpire who just gave it a stump. I said, "The guy's here, don't." And the whole team fought with me. We won. That's a different story, but the whole team fought with me. So after that, there's a lot of pressure on captain if he does something like that,
True.
So
yeah.
but anyways,
So
Bulls is more consistent this year. It's more stronger.
yeah. So I mean, points wise, Bulls are definitely Bulls have more wins than Fighters. Okay. The next game is it's unfortunate that two of the best bowling attacks they have to face each other in quarterfinals. Okay. Yeah, that's Stars versus Indus Thunder. That's how I see this game. Whoever loses in this game, they don't have to feel bad because they are playing with one of the best teams. And the other thing is, it's it's a loss for DCL. Two of the best teams are playing in quarterfinals. Dinesh.
Tough one. I'm going Indus Thunders. On paper, they have better balance than Stars, is what I feel personally, going with Indus Thunders.
Going with Indus Thunders. Okay. How about you, Praddy?
Yeah, I'm trying to still figure this one out. I may have to do a eeny, meeny, miny, moe and pick the one that my finger lands on. Wow. I don't know, man. This one's going to be a tough one to call. I'm going to go against the grain and pick Stars on this one.
Oh, okay.
Sravan.
So I think I'll give it to Indus.
Indus. Okay.
Just because of the depth.
Okay. So let me add this one. This game is happening in DSP2. So okay. So we have to see how this is going to be.
Okay. So all of these games have a reserved day Sunday, right?
Even Sunday is raining.
Oh my God.
So I'm expecting all these games are going to be cancelled for this weekend, and all these games will be moved to next Saturday is what I'm guessing based on weather that I checked just a few minutes ago. Okay.
If you remember, Jagan, usually DCL is always late, so maybe we try to pull it this year a little sooner.
Yeah.
So we'll probably go back to October again.
I don't know. See, I never expected weather. It changes. It cults with DCL.
Does.
Okay.
Yeah, DCL final is supposed to be in October, not in September. Okay.
Not in September. So even weather gods are not happy with that move. Okay. With that, we have completed all the games. And do you guys have anything to say? I mean, I'll go with the last words and conclude the show. Okay. I'll start with Dinesh.
Just need hats off to what you did. That's about it.
Okay. Pradip.
Good luck to all the teams. Hopefully, if the weather gets bad, the games get canceled. The last thing you want to see this far into the playoffs is weather have anything to do with the outcome of the game. So I'm hoping that if there's a lot of rain, just cancel it and play it on a better day. Hopefully, even on a weekday might be okay, I think. But it might actually be better because availability might be better in that regard. Good luck to all the teams. Bulls, you truly pulled a magic out of the hat last week. We hope that you can continue this momentum. And I am a big fan going forward. I'm rooting for you only if you're playing, except if you're playing against the OCC, okay? So good luck. and this is going to be a fun weekend.
Okay. Shravan.
I just want to wish all the best to all the playing teams. And hopefully they will entertain us one more time. Good luck.
Okay. See, I'll conclude this this one with a twist here. A twist in the sense, if the games are washed out on Saturday and Sunday, Sunday is the reserve day. If both days are washed out, higher ranking team will go to next round.
Oh,
So that's the rule. But
DCL at its best.
So watch out for that one. Okay, with that, we'll conclude tonight's show. Thanks to all listeners. Thanks, Dinesh. Thanks, Shravan. Thank you, Pradi. Good night.
All right. Thanks,
Thank you,
guys.
everybody.
Bye. Good night.
Have a good night.
Bye.
good night, everyone. Thank you.